everybody, it's Kristin and it is time for a Throwback Thursday. Again, I feel like I might have missed March. I don't know. Sometimes I'm able to do these, sometimes not, but I know that you guys still enjoy them. You told me that the last time I did them, or I did one, so here we go. Good gravy. So if you're new to Throwback Thursday, this is an idea that I got from Marnie from It's Gold Girl. She invited other YouTubers to jump on board the idea, and lots of other people have done it as well. And so I go back 2 years, and I take a look at what my favorites were 2 years ago, print out a list because that's how I roll, and kind of go through it and see, and I try to wear some of the products as well. So let us get started. The very first thing on there was actually a fail. So I usually try to steer over the fails because I haven't used them since, unless it's something that turned into a favorite. So we're gonna skip over that. And then the first favorite that I had on there was the Redken Pillow Proof. And I still have, I think I've gone through 2 or 3 of these, and I just recently got this one. I feel like in a beauty box or something, but I do still really like this product. I haven't used it in quite some time now because I have other products I'm trying to work through. But this is a product you put in your hair. It helps your hair dry faster. And I really do feel like it gives you a better shot at a second day hair. And what's interesting is watching that video, I was just starting to try to have second day hair. I was still a wash my hair every day kind of a gal. And so it's interesting to see because now I really do generally go 2 days, and on occasion I will go 3 days, depending on how my hair is behaving. So, do still like that, still a favorite. The next thing I had on there was the Spongeables Petty Scrub. That was a gift that I had gotten from Kristin, from Kristin321, and I really liked it. I looked for a new one, to buy one way back then. Wasn't able to find one, and I kind of forgot about it, so I haven't looked since. I would guess they're probably more readily available now than they were then, but so that's that. I don't have much to report on that. Not a favorite, not a favorite, but the next thing is baby foot, and what's so funny is that I just purchased this. I've talked about this a bunch of times. I do this at least twice a year. So if you are not familiar with baby foot, and there are a lot of other sort of versions out there, I've used a couple of them. None of them work to me like baby foot. It is $25, and I used to get mine on Beauty Sage, but the last time I went to buy it on Beauty Sage, it wasn't there. So I feel like I got this from drugstore somewhere. I will find a link for you and list it below. I did see it when I was in New York shopping at one of the stores. I just saw it sitting on a shelf. So I think it's a little more readily available than it was. At any rate, there's 2 little plastic boots in here. You cut off the tops, you slide your foot in, and you have to sit. And the one thing I will tell you is you need to sit like with your foot flat. You can't like prop your, well, you can. If you prop your feet up, like if you sit in a recliner or something like that, you're not getting your feet in the stuff as much, and it won't work as well. So you do that. Within a couple of days, the thinner skin, like on top of your feet, will start to peel. And then a couple of days later, as I've always said, it's like the foot apocalypse. Everything comes out, you feel like a leper, everything comes off of your feet, and when it's all done, it's totally worth it because your feet are like baby foot-like, as the name would imply, and just ready for sandal weather. So do not do this like the day or 2 before you're gonna leave for vacation, because you will be sorry and you'll be cursing my name. So it's great stuff. All right, I better keep talking. I better get going here. This is gonna be a long video. Okay, the next thing is the Bare Minerals Prime Time, and that was an eye primer. I did really like that. I have tons of primers that I have been working through, so I have not repurchased it. I really think, though, of all of the primers, it's probably a toss-up at this point between the MAC eye primer, the Prep and Prime, just eye base, and then the Urban Decay Primer Potion. So it's for me, it's probably a toss-up. From what I understand, this is the Urban Decay Primer Potion that I have. It has a little spout on it. From what I understand now, it's a doe foot applicator in the same kind of thing. I'm not sure I will like that very much, so I'll probably stick with the MAC once I use that one. All right, so let's talk about some eyeshadow favorites that I had back then. They are still favorites of mine. One of them I rarely use anymore. One of them I was reminded of, so let's just... The first thing is this, and I have talked this to death. There are a lot of like good favorites in here, like holy grail sort of favorites. First one is this duo from L'Oreal, and I used to have a bunch of these. This is the only one that I kept. I've purchased this for so many people. This is the duo in Electrified. I think I first heard about this from Shani, from Shani Banny, and she doesn't make videos anymore, but I will list her below just in case she comes back. Those are the 2 shades. I mean, look at that metallic-y taupe goodness, and then that beautiful sort of eggplant shade. I can't tell you how many times I've probably talked about this because it's ridiculous. And that's 1 swipe of this, 2 swipes of the purple. and that is what I'm wearing on my eyes today. It was really fun to sort of rediscover that duo again, and that's like I said, that's been in my favorites quite a few times. And I just love it. I think it's still available, but it's that metallic taupe that is you can pair that with so many things. It's just, there's so much goodness to it. Next I had 2 palettes. I'm grabbing them here. One is not available anymore, and it makes me so sad because it's such a great palette. It was back when the Kat Von D palettes looked like this, and this was the Saint palette. And there are just so many great neutral shades in here, but it also added some nice kind of peachy pink shades. There's probably no point, but there was a beautiful taupe in this. There's a matte brown. The only thing that was missing out of this, I felt, was a transition color and kind of a matte brow bone color, but I just loved this palette. I don't know if you can find this on eBay or Amazon or anything, but I do really like that palette. And then I wish that I had a spreadsheet in which I kept track of what I put in my favorites every month, because how many times do you think this has been in my favorites? So it's just one of those palettes, and in that video I talked about how there must have been a recent release of a Naked palette at that point in time, so it was 2 years ago. I don't know if that would have been the Naked 3, but anyway, whenever a new one comes out, a lot of people start talking about all the Naked palettes again. And this by far, I've been asked before, this by far is my favorite of the Naked palettes. For me, it's nice warm colors. It's the most versatile. I have serious dips in these. It's probably the only palette, well, I maybe have a couple other ones, but that have serious dips in them. I just absolutely still a favorite. Whenever people say to me, what is your favorite palette of all time? It's always been this one up until now, but the Too Faced Bonbons has given this a run for its money, let me tell you, because, man, I keep going back to that. Anyway. All right, a blush that I talked about in that video was by Merle Norman, and it was in Fancy Free. And I'm just going to put this right here for you guys. And then this was a limited edition for spring. So it looks like that. The Merle Norman blushes are so nice. This is the long lasting, I think it is. Yeah, lasting cheek color. I did look in my collection though. There are a couple of possible dupes for you. One of them is the L'Oreal True Match in Baby Blossom, which has also landed in my favorites quite a few times. And that's just a little bit lighter. You can see Baby Blossom there. It's just a little bit lighter. But I think probably the closest dupe, and this is, if you've been around a little bit, Illamasqua Naked Rose. Looks like that. And let me put that right to the side here. It's a really close dupe right there. So if you have those in your collection, break those out, especially Naked Rose. Do you remember when everybody talked about Naked Rose? I think the reason people don't talk about the Illamasqua blushes as much anymore is because they're not as easy to find. Sephora used to carry them and now they don't, and so I think they're just trickier to find. So when I saw that this next blush was on the list, I was like, do I still have that? Sure enough, it's the only e.l.f. blush of this style that I kept. So that should tell you that I do still like it. This is the e.l.f. Mineral Blush in Rich Rose. I believe this is still available. This is one that, it's just a very interesting shade. It's kind of bronzy, it's kind of rosy. I'm gonna build it up a little bit so you guys can see it here. And it just gives a different sort of dimension almost to your cheeks and has a nice sheen to it, but it's not overly sheeny. So I do still like this. I haven't used it in quite some time, but, and I cannot think of a dupe in my collection for that particular shade. So that one is nice. And the next one is one that I've talked about quite a bunch. I don't recommend this as much as I used to because a lot of people really don't like the sheen that this shows. But somebody recently just asked me to review Palladio, take your pick, cosmetics, and I think my Sally still has them. But I have 2 of these blushes, originally recommended to me by Laura from Laura Vitale, or Vitale Style, and this is what I'm wearing on my cheeks today. It just has the most beautiful. Your cheeks are flushed, but they're also glowy and shimmery. It's stunning. But if you don't like shimmer and you don't like a little bit of sheen, you won't like this at all. But you can kind of see, hopefully, how much sheen that has. It's right here. And then on my cheek, I don't have any highlight on my cheek at all. I don't have any glowy foundation on my cheek at all. all of that glowiness is from this blush. So some people don't like that quite as much, but I really enjoy it. This was a lip product that I had talked to death in the past few years, and it's MAC's Red Balloon. So I'm wearing that today. It's probably a little brighter than what I normally would wear with this sort of a overall look, but I thought for the video, I will go ahead and put it on. And this was limited edition to my knowledge. It was kind of here and there at Nordstrom for a while. I do believe that it is gone. Excuse me, that's what it looks like there. The only dupe that I have found ever, I've never found a drugstore dupe. The only other shade that is pretty much dead on, and I almost prefer this formula a little bit, is Tumultuous Pink, and that's in the Estee Lauder Pure Color line. So if you really liked Red Balloon and you haven't heard me talk about how Tumultuous Pink is a dupe, I had somebody give me a hard time once saying, isn't a dupe supposed to be less expensive? Not when something was limited edition. A dupe is something else that gives you the same shade as you can find in another, you know what I mean, in a line that is around. Okay, the other thing that I had on here was the Rimmel Exaggerate Lip Liner in Enchantment. And I have 2 of these. That's how much I like this. I had one at work for a while and one here for a while, and now somehow they've both landed here. This is a great liner, not necessarily with that lipstick. It is very soft though, just kind of as an FYI. I just broke another one of them. I always break the tips. So that is the shade there. These are really nice. I like that they're retractable. It's nice to have that. I love so many lip liners that have to be sharpened that I really appreciate when one is retractable now. So. And lastly, on the lip thing, actually there are 2 things, but one of them is these. I haven't talked about these in so long, and I had kind of forgotten about them. So I wouldn't say that it's not a favorite anymore, but I've totally forgotten about them. This is the Maybelline Color Elixir, and this is the one in Breathtaking Apricot. And I wear this a lot in the summer, but I don't think I broke it out at all last summer. I thought, ooh, I better make sure it's not bad. It's not, it's right there. I love these color elixirs. They're really nice. They're sticky though, so if you don't appreciate something that's sticky on your lips, you may not appreciate these, but they are really, really, really nice. And I ended up with 4. I have 4 different shades of them, and I do really like them. For the record, I have to show you that one that's stained there. That's Tumultuous Pink. It leaves a nice little stain. Just saying. Okay. I had on here Baby Lips in Very Berry. I have no idea where that is. Clearly, I wouldn't say that it's something I ended up not liking. I just have no idea where it went. I know I didn't use it up, but I don't know where it is. All right, the next thing was the e.l.f. Kabuki brush, and this thing I use this is absolutely a favorite. Probably of all of these things that I'm talking about, this is something that I have used the most in the past 2 years. So it's just the Face Kabuki. It's just this big honking thing. It's less dense than most other Kabuki brushes, which is why I like it. I use it when I just have gone a little bit crazy on the blush or the highlight, or something doesn't look right on my face. I just take this and just blend it all over, and it just makes everything look delightful again. So, I mean, if there's one takeaway from this total rehaul, get the e.l.f. Kabuki. I think it's one of their more expensive brushes. I think it's $6 or something, but totally worth every penny. I've gotten that and all of that and then some out of it in the past few years. All right, the Sephora Tapered Crease Brush was on there, and I do like this still. It's the number 19, which looks like this. And I don't think either one of what I'm going to show you is any less expensive. So let's just say that. But I have found other brushes that I just like better for what I was using this for. And there are 2 of them here, so depending on where you live and what's easily accessible for you. And I realize this one is very expensive. This is newer to my collection. It's the Tom Ford number 13 brush. It is just so soft, and I just like how it blends out the crease better than I like the Sephora one now. Also the Zoeva 228. These are similar brushes. You can see the bristles are a little bit longer on the Zoeva, but they function fairly similarly. I like the Tom Ford one better, but so for crease brushes, for the particular function of that one, I just don't love that as much as I used to. I do still use it, but these are just so much softer than that one. My Sephora 19 brush ends up feeling kind of prickly when I use it compared to those. So, and the Sephora 19 I had talked about as a really close dupe for the Quo Crease Brush, which I like. The Quo Crease Brush is even a little bit softer than that. I don't know why the number 19 over time has felt a little scratchier to me, but anyway, those are my lots of thoughts on that. And then lastly, I was talking about some false lashes, and I'm going to grab these. I was talking about the Salon Perfect number 53s from Walmart. I don't have any of those in my collection anymore. I don't know why. I don't know why they're not my favorites. But what I did notice when I went into my little drawers of lashes is that I have a lot of Demi Wispies. So apparently the Demi Wispies have taken over as my favorite. These are just a little bit more dramatic, I think, than the number 53s. But, I mean, you guys have seen Demi Wispies on everybody's channel from forever and ever, amen. But so those are, I would say, more of my favorite sort of go-to lashes. I do really like the Inky Minky White Lie lashes, but I really like those as well. So those are probably more of my favorites at this point than the 53s. And then I had on there the Revlon Lash Adhesive, and I used that up. I do really like that. I actually prefer the applicator on that to any other applicator. It's the one with a little brush and that sort of thing. But what I've been using lately and preferring is the Duo, and this is the Dark Duo. I think that's what it's called. The dark tone. You don't have to be quite as careful to cover up, you know, like if you miss a spot that you cover, you know, that you need to cover up with the glue or whatever, you don't have to be quite as careful with the dark one, but it seems to get tacky a little bit more quickly for me. I don't know if anybody else has noticed that, but so I think I prefer this, but I like the ease of the little wand thing on the Revlon much better. All right, so that is my Throwback Thursday for you to April of 2014. What's funny is that when I went to look it up, I typed in April of 2013 and I was like, wait, no, that's 3 years ago. Oh, how time flies. I think I've told you everything that is on my face today, aside from for foundation. I'm using the Makeup Forever HD, the Ultra HD in number 117. Review on this coming very soon. And I think that's it. Everything else I've told you. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you're having a great day, and in everything that you do, be beautiful. Bye.